Beloved, the birth of Christ is not merely an event that occurred in Bethlehem long ago. It is a divine pattern, eternally taking place within the soul of every man and woman who awakens to spiritual law. For Christ is not confined to history. Christ is the divine idea of God made manifest, and that idea seeks expression through you. The virgin birth signifies the immaculate conception of a thought untouched by fear, doubt, or human reasoning. When the mind becomes still, when it ceases to argue, when it no longer consults appearances, then the Christ idea is conceived in consciousness, and what the mind conceives in purity must, by divine law, come forth into manifestation. Mary did not question how. She did not say, "By what means shall this be?" She said only, "Be it unto me according to thy word." In that surrender lies the secret of all manifestation. The soul that yields to the word becomes a living womb of miracles. The angel announced glad tidings of great joy, for joy is always the forerunner of manifestation. Fear delays, joy accelerates. When one rejoices before the evidence appears, the law is set in motion. Therefore I say unto you, rejoice now. For that which you have asked is already on its way. The Christ child was laid in a manger, a humble place, teaching us that divine ideas often arrive without pomp or appearance. The human mind looks for greatness in outward signs, yet God's richest gifts are born quietly, nurtured in faith, and revealed in divine timing. Do not despise small beginnings, for every mighty oak was once hidden within an acorn. Herod represents the carnal mind, the fearful, controlling intellect that seeks to destroy the Christ idea the moment it is conceived. Whenever you declare a new truth, old beliefs will rise in protest. But fear has no power over that which is protected by divine wisdom. The Christ idea is always guided to safety. The wise men followed the star. That star is spiritual intuition. It never fails those who trust it. Reason argues, intuition knows. When you follow the inner light, it leads you unfailingly to the manifestation of your good. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh are symbols of the gifts you bring to the Christ within you. Gold, the recognition of your divine worth. Frankincense, the fragrance of faith and prayer. Myrrh, the surrender of the personal will. When these are laid at the feet of the Christ idea, it grows swiftly and surely. Beloved, Christ must be born again in you this day. Not tomorrow, not when conditions improve. Now, the moment you claim your oneness with divine intelligence, the moment you declare, I and the Father are one, the law responds. Speak the word, and the word becomes flesh. Declare peace, and peace appears. Declare supply, and supply flows. Declare harmony, and harmony establishes itself. For the word is alive, and it cannot return unto you void. This is the season of divine fulfillment. This is the hour of sacred expectation. Let no fear enter the stable of your mind. Let only faith, joy, and praise stand watch. I tell you, the Christ is born wherever faith replaces fear, wherever love replaces resentment, wherever trust replaces anxiety. And when Christ is born in consciousness, the outer world must rearrange itself accordingly. Therefore, lift up your eyes, rejoice exceedingly. Give thanks before the miracle appears. The law has been set in motion. The word has been spoken. The star is guiding you. And it is done. Beloved, the virgin birth is not a mystery of biology, but a revelation of consciousness. It is the eternal law by which every divine idea is brought into expression. A virgin mind is not an empty mind, but a mind uncontaminated by fear, doubt, or the reasoning of the senses. It is a mind that has learned the sacred art of receiving. When thought is kept pure, free from anxiety and argument, it becomes a holy place wherein the word may take flesh. Many pray, yet few conceive, for they mingle the word with fear, and fear is a denial of faith. The soul that questions how has not yet entered the virgin state. Mary asked no questions of limitation. She offered no resistance of reason. She simply yielded, and in that yielding the law moved into action. So it is with every demonstration. The moment you say, "Be it unto me according to thy word," you have released the divine pattern, and it cannot fail to externalize. You must guard the manger of your mind. Idle words, anxious thoughts, and contradictory statements are thieves that seek to steal the Christ idea before it is revealed. Speak only that which you desire to see made manifest, for the word is alive, and it hears you always. What you impress upon consciousness becomes your experience. A pure thought carries its own power. It needs no force, no manipulation, no human planning. It unfolds by divine order. That which is born of spirit is sustained by spirit, and no human interference can improve upon it. Therefore, rest in faith and refuse to dig up the seed to see if it is growing. As the Christ idea grows in silence, joy begins to stir within the soul. This joy is not emotional excitement, but quiet certainty. It is the soul's recognition that the law has been set in motion. When joy appears without cause, manifestation is near. Rejoicing is the natural next movement of a mind that has conceived. In purity, for joy is the sound the law makes when it is working, and thus, beloved, when the virgin birth has taken place within, praise rises unbidden, and the heart sings before the miracle is seen. For joy is the herald that goes before every divine appearing. This quiet joy, which wells up without reason or explanation, is the infallible sign that the law has accepted your word. It is the soul's inner announcement that the request has passed from desire into fulfillment. Joy is never an effect, it is a cause. Long before the outer world responds, the inner world celebrates. This is why the angels sang at the birth of Christ, for song is the language of completed faith. Many believe they must wait for visible proof before they rejoice, but this is to reverse the divine order. One must rejoice first, and the evidence follows. Praise is faith made audible. It tells infinite intelligence that the work is finished. The man or woman who gives thanks in advance has entered the realm of certainty, and certainty is irresistible to the law. Fear is always a denial of supply. It is the sound of divided allegiance, half faith, half doubt. But joy is undivided. It is the mind at peace, the heart at rest, knowing that God works unseen and unopposed. Therefore I say unto you, when anxiety arises, begin to praise. Praise dissolves fear as light dissolves darkness, for they cannot occupy the same place. Joy does not shout, it glows. It is calm, steady, and unwavering. It does not rush the law, nor does it attempt to assist it. It stands watch in quiet expectancy. This is why the shepherds were keeping watch by night. Night represents the time when nothing appears to be happening. Yet, it is in the night of faith that the greatest announcements are made. Rejoicing is spiritual recognition. It is the acknowledgement that what God has promised is already accomplished in the unseen. When you praise before the appearance, you place yourself beyond disappointment. For disappointment belongs only to those who look to conditions for assurance. But mark this well, joy often precedes resistance. The moment faith rises, the carnal mind takes alarm. Herod hears the song before the crown appears. Fear begins to whisper, reason begins to question, and old beliefs rise in protest. Yet this opposition is not a sign of failure, it is the confirmation that the Christ idea is alive and growing. So rejoice the more when fear knocks at the door. Praise is your protection. The song of faith confounds the enemy, and the Christ idea, guarded by joy, moves safely toward its hour of revelation. Fear always announces itself when a divine idea is near fulfillment. The moment the Christ idea stirs within consciousness, the carnal mind takes counsel against it. This is the Herod within the old reasoning, the ancient beliefs, the stored memories of failure rising up to preserve its throne. For fear knows that when truth is established, its rule is ended. Do not be disturbed when opposition appears. It is not sent to defeat you, but to reveal to you the strength of the idea you have conceived. No false king troubles himself over a powerless child. Herod did not seek the ordinary, he feared the extraordinary. So it is with every spiritual demonstration. Resistance is the shadow cast by approaching light. The carnal mind argues loudly. It presents facts, statistics, and past experiences. It demands proof and timelines. But remember, the Christ idea is not born of evidence. Evidence is born of the Christ idea. Reason always moves after the fact, never before it. Therefore, when reason shouts, remain silent. silence is faith's shield. God always provides a way of protection for that which he conceives. The angel warned Joseph in a dream, for dreams signify divine guidance beyond logic. When fear arises, guidance increases. Infinite intelligence never leaves a divine idea unguarded. You are not required to fight fear. You are required to listen. This is the moment when intuition awakens with greater clarity. The inner voice becomes more distinct, more persistent, more certain. While fear urges haste or retreat, intuition speaks calmly and without urgency. It does not explain, it directs. It does not argue, it leads. Many lose their demonstration at this stage by consulting too many voices. They ask advice of those who do not see the star. The wise men did not ask Herod for directions. They followed the light they were given. So must you. Follow the quiet knowing within. Even when it leads away from familiar paths, fear always seeks confrontation. Intuition seeks passage. When you obey the inner leading, the Christ idea is carried safely forward, untouched by interference. The opposition fades, the noise subsides, and the light grows brighter. For the star never appears until the child is born. And it never leads to confusion, only to fulfillment. Beloved, the star that guided the wise men is the symbol of intuition, the divine faculty that always knows the way when reason falters. Reason looks backward, counting failures and weighing appearances, but intuition moves forward, undeterred by circumstance. It is the light that shines in the darkness of uncertainty, revealing the path to every promise that God has placed within the soul. The star never lies, for it is not swayed by conditions. It is the voice of spirit, clear and unchanging. To follow the star is to obey the inner guidance that comes in quiet whispers, in sudden insights, in the calm assurance that one step forward is safe. The star does not demand proof, it demands trust. Many stumble because they refuse to follow what cannot be explained. Yet, faith is born of trust in what is unseen, and every manifestation is conceived in the unseen before it appears in form. The wise men did not question the journey. They did not argue with the path. They moved steadily, bringing gifts, prepared in expectation. So must you prepare your heart and hands, bringing gold, frankincense, and myrrh, your recognition of divine worth, your devotion in prayer, and your willingness to surrender the personal will. These are the offerings that honor the Christ idea within, and through them, your inner vision is made visible. The carnal mind may doubt the direction, but the star shines brighter when opposed. Fear cannot dim it, hesitation cannot delay it. Every trial is a confirmation that you are on the right path. The star guides not only through clear skies, but also through the shadows, and those who follow faithfully are led to the place prepared for the manifestation of their desire. Beloved, intuition is the law in action, the guiding principle that ensures the Christ idea reaches its appointed hour. Listen, obey, and move without hesitation, for the unseen forces of God are constantly arranging, opening, and preparing the way. When the heart follows the star, the world itself bends to fulfill the vision of spirit. The Christ child is always born where the star is followed, and every step taken in faith brings the promise closer to realization. Beloved, when the Christ is born in consciousness, the outer world must obey. This is a law as certain as the rising sun. For conditions are always the reflection of inner state. The visible world can no more resist the divine idea than water can resist the river's flow. When peace, harmony, and supply are established within, they must appear without. The mind that understands this law never pleads, never struggles, never doubts, for the work is already done in the invisible. Too many wait for outward evidence, thinking the promise is delayed. Yet the outer cannot move until the inner is established. The Christ child must first be conceived, then nurtured, then revealed. Do not look to circumstances for confirmation. Look to your consciousness. Is the mind serene? Is the heart rejoicing? Then the law is in motion. The world outside is merely the servant of your inner realization, arranging, shaping, and preparing the way for the visible manifestation. Speak only the word of life, for the word is alive, and cannot return unto you void. Declare abundance, declare peace, declare health, declare love. Let no fear or complaint escape your lips, for each word is planting seed, and the law brings forth its harvest. Give thanks for that which is already done. Praise is the signal that the invisible is working. Do not be concerned with how the manifestation will appear. That is the concern of infinite intelligence. You are to conceive, to affirm, to rejoice, and to give thanks. The how belongs to God, and He arranges all details in perfect order. Your work is to hold the idea in the womb of consciousness, to guard it with faith and love, and to walk joyfully in expectancy. Thus, beloved, as the Christ is born within, every condition without will bend and bow in obedience. Peace fills the heart, supply flows freely, and harmony establishes itself. All that God has promised is fulfilled, for the invisible has become visible, and the word spoken in faith becomes flesh. The law never fails, and the Christ idea, once conceived, moves inevitably toward its hour of revelation. Beloved, we have walked together through the mystery and the law of manifestation, seeing how the birth of Christ is not merely a story of long ago, but a living principle ever at work in the soul. Remember this: every divine idea conceived in purity, guarded by joy, guided by intuition, and protected from fear, cannot fail. The Christ child is not born in a manger alone. He is born in the consciousness of those who believe, in hearts that surrender, in minds that rejoice, and in souls that trust. Therefore, I charge you today, conceive only the pure thought, speak only the word of life, rejoice before the manifestation appears, follow the guiding star of your intuition, and know that the outer world must bend to the inner law. Let fear depart, let doubt vanish, and let faith reign supreme. Guard your mind as the holy stable in which the divine idea rests, and know that infinite intelligence arranges all in perfect order. Speak the word, give thanks, rejoice, and believe without hesitation. The Christ is born wherever faith replaces fear, wherever love takes the throne, and wherever trust stands unwavering. Claim your divine inheritance now, for the law is alive, and it responds to the words of your mouth, the thoughts of your mind, and the joy of your heart. Lift your eyes, beloved, and rejoice exceedingly, for the promise is fulfilled in the unseen. Let your heart sing, let your soul dance, and let your life reflect the glory of the Christ within. Go forth in this knowledge, knowing that the invisible has become visible. The word has become flesh, and all that God has spoken is yours. It is done. Amen.